and welcome to this video. I'm going to show you everything I have knit and crocheted, sweater and cardigan wise, over my whole knitting and crochet career. I have been knitting and crocheting for about 20 years knitting and 15 years crocheting, and I have to say the results here is quite surprising to myself. So you can have a little guess and let's see if you're right or wrong. I was certainly very wrong when I thought how much have I actually done of big garments. So let's get right into it. Let me start showing you. I am going to try to go in chronological order. There are a few things that I have gotten rid of, but I'll try to dig up some photos of those. So this is only what I made for myself. I am going to link down below the patterns that I can find. So let's start. The year is 2013 and I made the Still Light Tunic. I will put up the name here and the writer of the pattern if I can find it. This pattern is, as far as I can remember, the first sweater, cardigan, big dress that I ever made. So it's a tunic, very 2013. I made it in this deep, beautiful blue color, not far away from this color here. And I will try to find pictures. If not, just imagine this color here with the pattern that I'm about to show you. I remember really loving this tunic and I wore it to work. It was a challenge for me to make because if you look at the picture, it has pockets. This was a good lesson for me because I hadn't made pockets before. And these pockets you made as you went, so you didn't put them on after. And I vividly remember doing the pattern and I could not understand what the instructions were telling me. I couldn't understand where are we going with this. So I decided to just trust the pattern and just do one thing at a time. Normally, most people will say you need to understand the pattern before you start, you need to read through it. But this was the case of trusting the process. It taught me a valuable lesson that you can trust the process. And if it doesn't work, then after having tried it for the first time, then try again. But it worked out. I ended up loving this tunic. The only thing I would have changed was the length. I did make it a little bit short. And that might have been because I was in my 20s and didn't care that much, but it was a little bit short. I don't think I had the yarn. If I still had it and planned on using it, I could have cut out the bottom part and just knit the length a bit more. Because this was a top-down pattern, I don't still have this tunic. It was a bit short, as I mentioned. Wearing a wool tunic is just not something that's realistic for me. I think it was about last year that I actually decluttered it. I decided to give it away to someone and I hope it's living somewhere and that someone's having good use of it now. So, but that was my first really big pattern, really big tunic. I really loved the color, I loved the yarn. It was just a bit short and it was too hot for me. Alright, so the next thing that I can remember and can find pictures of, I will say I have gone through my old Ravelry and pictures and tried to figure out, have I made more that I had forgotten? I found a few things, but this is a thing I still have, so I'll show you. So this pattern is actually the Fana sweater, and I decided I'm not too fond of doing color work, doing double stranding, so I decided to make this in a single color, a beautiful light blue. This sweater I still have, I still wear it sometimes. It was my first sweater where I had to sew in the arms with my sewing machine, which was really terrifying. I don't like that, I don't want to do that again. In my notes I have, this is a Fana sweater, it's Sandnes pattern. I used the Sandnes mini alpaca yarn in a light blue. So this is a good one, I still have it, I will still wear it sometimes. So, and this was made in 2018. Then I have another sweater that I made in 2018. It's the Tirilgenser sweater. I think she's a skier or something here in Norway. I made this and I thought I was going to make it for myself. I did make it for myself. I will say that I ended up giving this away to a family member. I don't like working with the sort of brushed alpaca yarn, and I think it was a bit, it's just a bit chunky but also thin. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but it's something that I just don't prefer. I made this in Du Stor Alpakka fairy tale yarn, which is a good yarn, but again, I don't think I'm going to work with it again. Alright, now it's 2019 and I made a cardigan. I made a black cardigan, a very simple, nice pattern, and it was the sort of cardigan where you could just chuck over anything. I really liked wearing it out for sort of an outer layer for like a Christmas party or something like that, and I have been wearing it every year since then. Now, I don't know if you're like me and some items hold some memories, good or bad. I think that this one did hold a few bad memories for me, so I still have it. It's in storage. I made another one a few years earlier, so this is like 2019 was the newest, and then maybe 2015 I made a olive color one. I haven't gotten as much use out of that, but I made that one too. I think it's just something with the pattern where you have some bad memories associated, so I don't plan on wearing that again, but I have it in storage, maybe one day. That was Sandnes pattern again. I used Sandnes mini alpaca and silk mohair. It was a good cardigan. It was a very wearable one, but sometimes you just have some memories and I'm not wearing it anymore. I'm currently knitting something to replace that sort of item that I can just chuck it on and go out, especially during winter, just for a drive or something. But yeah, so that's 2 more cardigans that I made. Alright, let's get to another thing I can actually show you. This is my Iris sweater. I will have a bit of a struggle to find a pattern here, but the yarn was called Iris. I think it's been discontinued, but I saw this one in one of my local yarn shops and I fell in love. Look at this. I love purple, I love yellow, it's sort of this like light and fluffy, sort of brushed again, but not in the same way that the fairy tale yarn is. So this one is just very colorful. It worked out really well. It worked up pretty fast. I need to wear this more, but I really love this one. This is a great one. I have no regrets. I think I followed the pattern pretty well on this, and yeah, this is one of my favorites. I really love this one. Then I had a few years where I didn't make any sweaters or cardigans, so we are now at last year, 2024, and I had just gotten really back into crochet. I had a good few years where I didn't crochet at all, and I decided I want to start again. I have told you before that I do deal with chronic pain and hand pain. I have a few crochet things here to show you, actually quite a few, and we will start with the what I call sunset hexagon cardigan. This is a pattern that took me a good while to make, I will be honest. This is a cardigan that took a lot of effort because the color is not self-striping. It is me cutting the yarn strands and weaving in all the ends all the time. This is my sunset hexagon cardigan. I really love this one. So this is also Filcolana Arvetta yarn. It's one of my favorite yarns. It's just thin. I think I actually did double strand this, so it's pretty thick, it's pretty nice. This is one of my favorite things I've made. You'll see that I do make a lot of very colorful things, and I do love my colors. I am also in need of a few more neutral ones. Then we have my biggest fail. I will call this my biggest fail. I made a moss stitch cardigan, and I followed a good pattern, but I didn't quite think when I made it. So I did make it out of a stack. I had all this yarn sitting here in my stash and I wanted to use it. So that was also a lesson to me that if I'm going to spend so many hours making a sweater or cardigan, I better really love the colors. It should be my colors. It should be colors that I want to use, not colors that I'm just using because I have them. So for bigger projects, definitely make sure you have the right colors for you. So this is what it looks like. As you maybe can see, it's a bit short in the front here, on both front panels, and that's the problem. And then we have the arms, because I was starting to run out of colors, so I was just creative. And yeah, the biggest problem here was that I sort of miscalculated when I made the front panels. And they are not wide enough at all for a cardigan. I prefer cardigan to almost close. It's something I can chuck over, but I haven't used it at all really. It's a good lesson to make sure that you fit it right and you use the right colors for you. Alright, we just have a few more. Then I have a drops pattern. This is the Autumn Charm. A good friend of mine sent me the yarn for this and the pattern for I think it was a birthday gift last year. I have to say, I thought it was so kind of her. The only issue is that the colors are not really me, and that's completely fine. I still made it. So it's this grey and red, and it's a good Christmas pattern. I will use this for Christmas. I have to say, I don't really like drops patterns for many reasons. One of them is that they're just not, in my opinion, written well, especially for beginners, and they always cause me some sort of headache. The second issue with this pattern is that when I was doing the B-roll here, it started unraveling, and that sucks, so I'll have to fix that. It was making the panels and then stitching it up. I didn't like how the pattern suggested that, so if I were to make it again, I would make some changes here. But it's done, and I got some practice. My very dear friend was so kind to gift it to me, so I am going to wear it, but I will need to do some repairs, as you can see. Alright, we have 4 left. So the last thing I made last year was a green hexagon cardigan with a hoodie. It's a bit hard to show, but the hoodie is here. So this is a sort of shorter cardigan, but I really love it. This is an alpaca yarn. The yarn is Du Store Alpakka Tweed. I really love this one. It's very comfy, it's very warm, so this is for the cold winter days. But I love the color, the sort of olive color, and yeah, the hood was really fun to make, and I would do that again. Alright, then I have my skull hexagon cardigan. This was really fun. I made this in the beginning of the year. I did the finishing touches on a blog actually, I will link that. So this is the front part, and then we have the back part, which is the best part, which is 4 skulls here. And then in the front we have pockets as well. So this one I made in dag-genser Lerche, which is I think it's a cotton and merino blend, so this isn't as hot. I have worn this quite a few times, I got some compliments on it, and I think it's really fun. This is a thing I would definitely make again, but I had to work a lot of this out myself as I combined a few patterns, which is good if you have some experience. So yeah, that is my skull cardigan. And then my last finished item, oh, I forgot one thing that I made before this, but I have this very colorful hexagon cardigan. I made this just a month ago. It's long, it's comfortable, and I have it in my previous vlog, so I will link up there if you want more details. This one was an absolute joy to make. I really love it. And then I'll find the last item. Yes, so the last item, which was my second to last item, was a crochet sweater. I have made a lot of crochet cardigans, as you can see, but this is my first crochet sweater. This is the two-tone cardigan, and I made it in 100% cotton yarn. I have worn it a few times, and I'm very curious as to how this will wear and tear. So yeah, that is everything. I am hoping to make a lot more sweaters specifically over the next year. I thought I'd made a lot more sweaters and cardigans. I haven't. And I think that's kind of my impatience in my 20s. I've always wanted to make small things to get them done and get them out of my way. But I am more patient now in my 30s, and I'm looking forward to making specifically sweaters. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was fun, and I'll see you next time.